Take it on, boys!
Wow, guys, that was awesome. Happy Mardi Gras, by the way. And it's been a pleasure to my soul to listen to you guys play old style Dixie like that. I really appreciated you guys coming in.
Thanks.
So,
you love it.
Good
You really
stuff.
play.
So what's the name of your band so you can let the fans know?
Okay, so this version is KJO's Two Beat Dames. Two beat actually is 1920 slang for New Orleans jazz. So it doesn't mean that there's two dames or two this, but the two beat is the part that's the play on the words. It's 1920 slang for New Orleans jazz. And then there's usually more girls, like if we do a bigger event, we'll have dancers with us too, so that's
Nice.
why dames is plural. But usually it's just me and the boys. So.
And are they all kind of dressed in that style in the 20s?
Yes. They usually have their own, they're all matching. It's really cute. So they're a troupe, and they all have their matching costumes, and it's like vaudeville.
Yeah, we have bow ties and
The boys usually have
hats.
bow ties, and they're all matching too. But yeah, they all have their outfits, and then I'll have mine, and yep.
That would be a treat to see that.
Yeah.
So why don't we just go down the line, starting with you, the bass, and we can just introduce yourself and how'd you get started playing, how'd you meet these guys, and a little bit about what inspires you.
Yeah, so I'm Chris Barnaby. I play bass for the band. How I got into music, how I started playing bass. Growing up in the 90s, all my friends took up guitar because they wanted to play Nirvana and Bush and everything else. And I kind of had to march to my own beat, so to speak. So I said, you know what? I love music. I'm taking up bass. All my friends are taking up guitar. I'm going to be a little different. And just fell in love with it ever since. And picked up upright bass in college as well. I guess some of my influence, I do like the old great jazz bassists like Ron Carter, Victor Wooten is one of my
nice.
all-time favorites.
What college did you go to?
Small college north of Pittsburgh, Westminster College.
Okay.
Yep.
Sweet.
I'm Todd Fulginetti. I play trumpet. I started playing trumpet in 4th grade, and we didn't have any trumpets in the band at that time, so the band teacher... We didn't have any trombones either. So the band director wanted me to play trombone, and I just... No offense to trombone. I was just stuck on trumpet. I wanted to try that, and it worked out well. I've been playing since then. Lots of different styles and groups. And some of my favorite trumpet players are Louis Armstrong. I don't know how you can be a trumpet player and not have him listed as an influence. And I also love Freddie Hubbard and Wynton Marsalis, especially Wynton because he's the first guy that I heard of who played all kinds of different styles. He does his classical stuff. He does straight ahead jazz. He does New Orleans style jazz. He played in funk bands when he was growing up. So he does just about everything, and that's a guy I look up to because I like playing just about everything. So yeah, I try to. He's at the top of my list.
Nice.
Yeah, Wynton's a monster. He's a monster.
I want you to talk a little bit about that beautiful drum kit you were playing on.
Oh. Well, my name's John Tusa. I started playing drums, I think I was 5. My parents bought me a Sears and Roebuck drum kit, and I beat the crap out of it. It had like paper heads and destroyed it. So I think in 4th grade, I got to actually play drums in the band. And then through middle school and high school, I went to a bunch of festivals and then thought, this is kind of what I want to do. So I went to college for it, and there. I met Kayla. I think we met in the big band, didn't we?
Oh my gosh! If you go all the way, yeah, it was.
Was it the Encores?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I subbed in for one of the reed players in the Encores, and then we bumped in again during doing musicals.
Yeah, during a couple
I
of
think that's
musicals.
how I met you guys in
And
musicals.
yep, we met Chris doing a musical. What
Rocky
was,
Horror.
was it
Oh.
Rocky? The first
Yeah,
one
we did
was
Rocky.
Rocky.
Yeah.
And
I don't know.
then
We've done a couple.
yeah, we did
Rocky.
Joseph too.
Mhm.
And then we know Todd through our piano player Chris, and then yeah, I can do everybody else, but you didn't talk.
And then
about
you want to know the drum set a little bit?
Oh yeah, that thing was beautiful.
Yeah, the drum set is a it's mostly authentic. There's some points where you have to go modern, just the rigors of playing and trying to find a 100-year-old piece of equipment that actually functions. But the tempo blocks, they're from the late 1800s. The snare drum is 1905, as near as I can guess. And the bass drum actually had to be upgraded.
That's not a Slingerland, was it?
It's a Gretsch.
Okay.
In fact, took a long time and kind of the internet hive mind to figure out what it was. Because back then, manufacturers didn't put their name on a lot of stuff, and all the hardware was made by one company. So you had a lot of Gretsches and Ludwigs and Slingerlands that all had the same hardware.
Lady.
So it gets pretty tough to date. But the bass drum's actually a semi-modern one, only because I needed to put Mylar heads on it. I used to have a bass drum that had calfskin,
Yeah.
and during summer festivals, they would get the humidity and storms. They would just become waterlogged and unplayable.
That was bad.
Yeah.
So what got you into this style? What other styles do you play?
I kind of fell into it. I got a 1960s Ludwig drum kit, and I started getting really into the older drums. And next thing I know, I'm looking at 1920s and 1910s, and the instrument actually appealed to me. The origination of trap kit actually appealed to me before I got into the music. I was just like, wow, this was really cool. They had all these things they were playing. And then
Like the table with junk on the top.
yeah. And I think it was because I was doing musicals and it was a similar concept. You'd have a bunch of stuff. And I that's how I fell into it. And then I met Kayla and she was talking about doing it, and I was like, that's brilliant. That'll line up perfect.
Yeah, I haven't heard too many bands like this in this area. That's
No.
There's a few in eastern PA.
okay.
So if you go out towards Philly, there's a couple over there. But out here, central PA and west,
So you guys got something going on since
we,
it's the
we
only one
usually
out there.
we usually play like the big wide central PA circle. So we were in Gettysburg for a while, and then some of the venues we used to play at, they closed. And then we've been north, right? A little bit. Oh, yeah, we were up near the Poconos in State College. We played up there, a couple private parties and things, and then, come all the way back around Harrisburg and Hershey and Lancaster. So we do the big circle.
Okay.
But
What are some of your? I just want to ask you one more thing. What are some of your drumming inspirations?
Well, that's a product of me growing up. Obviously, Keith Moon, The Who, and Neil Peart, To Die For. Then as I got older, I started getting into a little more Billy Cobham, Buddy Rich. It took a while. I wish I'd gotten into them a little earlier. But I think I had to mature to appreciate that style. And now pretty much anything. I mean, I listened to, and I can't remember his name, but I just saw him do a clinic. He does the Lion King.
Oh.
Yeah, I just saw him at a clinic down in Delaware, and he was amazing. Simply amazing. So now it's pretty much anything and everyone.
Nice.
Hi, I'm Lee Howard. I sing and I play the banjo. I would say the way I got into this sort of music is that I met Kayla, who is my lovely wife and the brainchild of our band. So we had met each other through musical theater. I'm primarily an actor and a singer, and that's why I know some of these other guys too, doing theater in York County, Gettysburg, Harrisburg areas. And so I was singing with the original version of the band, and as we migrated on, she said, "Hey, the guy who was playing banjo for us, he became unavailable.
He took a cruise
To
contract.
cruise contract.
And he was so cute about it too. He's like, "Is it okay if I do this? I have to leave." I'm like, "You don't have to ask me, sweetheart." Like, so he leaves, and I'm like,
So yeah.
"Well, hi."
So I played some guitar and basically got recruited to play banjo. So I picked it up, started playing. I after a few years, I invested in the instrument you guys saw in the video is a 1928 Silver Bell, original 20s banjo. Plays absolutely beautiful. So yeah. So I wouldn't say I have any banjo influences. I just play banjo via necessity, but I do love, from a singing and music perspective, all kinds of music, especially the early musicals genre, and I like singing in that style. So this actually lines up well with that.
What kind of microphone was that you were singing on?
Yes, the microphone itself was actually a result of John's brainchild. We were singing off of what was that? It was the 40s style microphone.
The Shure.
It was
The Shure.
It was like the Sinatra microphone.
Yeah, it's like some 40 or something like that. Anyway, so
Yeah.
it just didn't quite line up. It was fine whenever we were doing.
What
30s
was
and
that, what's
40s.
that shell from? Is that an actual antique mic?
I don't believe so. It was fabricated.
Yeah, it was fabricated.
Oh.
A guy down in Georgia I met on the internet, and he makes old stuff. Makes it out of plastic pipe, metal pipe, stuff he finds. And,
That was a cool looking mic.
Oh, it's.
That'd be
he did
cool
a
to have all my
wonderful
mics
job.
look like that.
Yeah. Yep.
So what kind of music do you listen to? What do you enjoy? Like styles, banjo styles?
So honestly, we listen to Kayla is in charge of the music at the house, but I would say we listen to. We were just listening to the Dixie Ticklers on the way down here. I actually really like bluegrass banjo. That's something I'd like to pick up eventually, but it's not something I've had a chance really to get into yet. But I'm relatively young, so maybe I can move in that direction. But I listen to all kinds of stuff. I mean, it depends. If I'm working out, I like electronic music. I like old music. I grew up in the 90s, so of course, everybody's the Nirvanas and the Metallicas and all that, right? So all kinds of, and musical theater. And I don't know if it gets much more variety than that.
One spectrum to the next.
Exactly. There's
That's
you
sweet.
can appreciate music in all of its forms, which is
Yep.
really cool.
You go.
Me go.
Yeah, because I'll have to say a bunch of stuff.
Oh, that's true. All right. Well, I'm not prepared now. I'm Dom Mascaro. I play the trombone. I started playing the trombone, 6th grade, I think. And yeah, it was one of those things where it was just too many drummers, too many guitarists. They needed a trombone or a baritone. My dad played the trombone, so I picked it up. End up loving it. It's great. It was a lot of fun playing with these guys.
So did you play on your dad's trombone, the first thing you ever played?
No, actually, I was able to get. We were in the process of moving, so it was actually easier at that point to get the school's trombone rather than get my dad's trombone out of storage. He didn't play it like at the time. He plays it on and off. Yeah, what's the other one?
We met him through a friend. So he's a friend of a friend. And then we like adopted him. We're like, no, we're keeping you. So.
Where are you originally from this area?
Yeah, I'm from originally Spring Grove around York.
Okay.
And I guess not. Is that this area? Yeah, that's still this area.
Towards like Reading, kind of, right?
Spring
Yeah.
Grove?
Isn't Spring Grove towards Reading?
Oh, no, that's over.
Between Gettysburg and York.
Yeah.
It's south. It's,
Yes.
Yeah, it's
What
south.
is it? I'm thinking of something else towards Reading. Spring something.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Springfield. I don't
Yeah.
know.
But yeah, now I live around Lancaster. I have an apartment in Millersville. I don't know why I told you where I live, but we were talking about it.
We're all going to come visit you.
So is that the only instrument you play?
Yeah, I pick up piano like a little bit. I can't play it in front of people, but I'll use it for like composing and stuff like that.
That's good. What's some of your inspirations?
Definitely, I mean, you gotta say J.J. Johnson, I think. A lot of people say J.J. Johnson. But I really like Jimmy Nepper. He's in Charles Mingus's band. That's like, when's Charles Mingus from? I can't think of it. But Bill Watrous, some newer guys. Elliot Mason. I'm not sure.
heard
He
that.
plays with Wynton Marsalis now. Really good trombonist. And actually, my trombone was kind of modeled after his. Same company and everything.
For some reason, I'm thinking Trombone Shorty.
Oh, Trombone Shorty's also really good.
I was listening to him on the trumpet, and he's just phenomenal. I can't, like, when he was like 12 years old, just blowing like forever.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You got a great sound, man.
Thank you.
Hi. Okay. Okay. Right. I'm Kayla Keating. So the whole Keating Jazz Orchestra. That's my brother and I. But okay. So if I go back, first thing, my parents put the two of us in piano lessons first when we were like 6 or 7, and then 4th grade, I picked up clarinet. He picked up saxophone. My brother's kind of like the other half of this. So we started together, and now I'll get into that, but he does the production stuff for us now. So let's see. Went through all middle school and high school. I was also a 90s kid, but I was the middle school. I was the weird child. Like everybody was doing Backstreet Boys and Britney Spears, and I was doing.
No, I wasn't.
Well, they like NSYNC and 98 Degrees and all that. But I like that stuff. But at home, it was Benny Goodman, Glenn Miller, all kinds of big band stuff.
Who got you into that? Like, how did you know about these artists?
My parents. There was always Elvis and Little Richard on.
Okay.
So there was always that type of music on, and then when I started playing clarinet, found Benny Goodman and found Glenn Miller's band and Artie Shaw, and then high school, I decided I wanted to do music ed, so I started picking up. So 9th grade, I taught myself sax because no clarinets in jazz band. So taught myself in like 3 days before the audition. That was great. I forgot to transpose, learned all the wrong scales, but I learned the harder ones, so my band director was like, it's okay. Then, since I did want to do music ed, I picked up flute my senior year, so I could at least have the main 3 going in there. Then college, we went to Kutztown University. Played in the jazz band there for just a year, because I got roped into playing piano for it, because they have too many saxophones. So, and after that,
Do you still play the sax?
oh, yeah, okay, so since I do musicals, for the read books, you need to know, like, everything. So, yeah, all clarinets, all flutes, all saxes, oboe, English horn. The only one I don't mess with is bassoon. They're so expensive, I've never actually gotten my hands on one. But
Is that the one with the little straw-looking thing on top?
the vocal? Yeah. Did I
Yeah.
say that right?
I know.
Yeah.
I know it's not a straw, but
It's yeah, it's like really tall, red,
Listen to log.
double
This
reed.
is log.
So oboe, English horn, and bassoon would be double reeds. So then after college, I was bouncing around a little bit, being your rebellious self. So then when I finally got back to the area, my brother and I started a 40s 18-piece.
18. Oh, so
it
big
was
band, like big band.
Yeah, we did a big band, and we went through all of our contacts. I went through all of the people I went through college and high school with. He was still in college at the time, so he's 5.5 years younger than me. So he went through his contacts at his college, and we got all the 18 together, and we would rehearse. Oh, and I'm originally from New Jersey, so we would rehearse in Jersey at the singer's church. He was the music director there, so we could use the place. So I'd have to drive all the way over there a couple times a month, and we were just like rehearsing and rehearsing and rehearsing. And you know how hard it is trying to find gigs for
I can imagine.
18 people? So eventually, we went through a lot of people.
That's
There was
close to Philadelphia, though. So there's probably a lot of places in Philly.
It's still like 2-3 hours away.
Okay.
Yeah, and where we are in North Jersey and Morris County, where we were, it's still like pretty far apart. So the closer thing would have been New York. So we were having a tough time, and we were having a big turnover with players and stuff. So eventually we were getting charts, trying to find charts, and then it was just like, it pittered out. It was just not, it was too big, and my brother was still in school, and I was in Pennsylvania, so we let that fold, but I can pull it out. Like, I have that, and I have the people, so if anytime anybody wants that, I can pull that out. So that's still a thing. But then I met John, and we started talking about the big band and what we could do with it, and it just wasn't going anywhere. And there was one day, and I loved all the 20s and 30s charts, and the amount of clarinet that was in it was awesome, and I was like, yes. So my friend and I were at the store one day, and I've never been able to find charts for the 20s and 30s stuff, and there was a book with all of them, and I was like, I know this one, I know this one, I know this one, and we got it, and I'm like, look, oh my god, look what I found, let's do this. So there's a version of this that you can do with 13. So we originally started with like 13 and a bunch of singers and dancers, and if you add on a tenor sax and a violin, and
you play violin too.
No.
Oh, no. She was just pointing to me to help her think of the things. We had 3 singers.
Yeah, there was about 13 of us.
So a female singer, a male singer, and then we
also
didn't double up.
Yeah, it was clarinet, tenor, trumpet, trombone, violin, bass, drums, keys, banjo. And that was going good for a while. And then we skinnied that down. So now we just have the Dixieland 7-piece, still do 20s and 30s. But then John, those books that you saw us before, John has been going through and rewriting all the charts out for us. So it's way easier to read. What else? I don't know.
Well, do you guys have any albums recorded or any
We
music?
don't. There's only 7 of us, but it's so hard trying to get the 7 of them together. Shakes fist angrily.
But you're trying to work that in the future.
Yeah.
Do you have a website that people can come check out?
We do, but it's in the process of being updated and completely redone. So the Facebook page is actually the better place to go. And
or maybe by the time somebody sees this, it might be up.
Yes, yes.
What is the website?
Oh my gosh, it's a Wix site, so I'll have to give it to Jamie to put on the video.
Okay, we'll put it down below.
Yes.
Get it.
But I'm hoping to get it updated this week. The content on there's kind of old. It's still like modeled after the big band, so I need to completely switch that over to what we're doing. But the Facebook page is going to be the most updated thing, and it's listed under the Keating Jazz Orchestra. And then KJO's 2-Beat Dames is like the little branch off of that. So the 2-Beat Dames part of it is the 20s, 30s, and Dixieland. And then Keating Jazz Orchestra would be like...
So what's next for you guys?
So previously we've done some 1920s lawn parties. We would like to start doing them ourselves and organizing them ourselves, like book the venue and book other bands so we can trade off with them and throughout the day. And let's see, we met another agent over, like, we know, like, a lot of our friends that do this, same style, they're all in Eastern PA. We actually play in Eastern PA a lot. And one of their agents contacted us, and we might be doing something at the Mud Island Speakeasy. We might be there. There's a bootleggers ball in October, and then next year at Glenford, where they used to have the Philadelphia lawn party, they're trying to organize one at Glenford again for 2022. So those are the big things.
Yep.
And I'm anxious to hear an album from you guys.
Yes. Oh,
I agree.
See, okay, this is where I can talk about my brother, Marty. So when we, after the big band thing, he went and he does photography, videography, sound and engineering, production. He has his own company now. They do weddings, this whole bit. So he's going to be the one that comes in and does the recording for us. So he is still involved, but he does that side of it for me, which is great. And then I have another girl who's going to be doing our websites and everything, and then I take care of the boys.
Well, it was definitely a pleasure having you guys. It was one of a kind. It's the first time we had band like yours in here, and I hope we keep growing together as a family. And is there anything you'd like to say to your fans before we wrap up?
Oh God, they all look at me. I am horrible at speaking, so whenever you do see us,
You're doing a pretty good job.
Yeah.
if I have if somebody says some 2 cents, I can then and I'll go off on.
What she means is thank you for watching. We would love to see you at one of our venues. Hopefully you guys have as much fun as we do, because we actually have an absolute blast. The best part about our music is that it's fun. You can't listen to it and not be happy unless it's the blues, and then we're doing it to you on purpose.
This is why we give him the microphone.
So we'd like to thank Jamie for having us. It was a great time hanging out here. What a
Definitely
great setup and a great organization to work with. And it's been a great time.
So look out for this band. I'll put the links and all you can all the donation links and their website down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.